Chapter 1. Why was I a victim of human trafficking? Sex trafficking doesn't happen here, people often say, especially those from small towns. If it doesn't happen where they live, they're not personally affected. It's a terrible thing, they admit, but it's also removed from them. Or so they want to believe. And yet, sex trafficking happens everywhere, and no city or small town is immune. It happens to victim-prone children. For me, it occurred in Miami, but it could have happened to any girl or boy in Cub Run, Kentucky, or Cedar Falls, Iowa. My co-writer, Cecil Murphey, wasn't caught in human trafficking, but even in Iowa, where he grew up, he easily could have been lured into the sex trade. He had many of the same problems and conflicts as I did. He also fit the profile. Every story is different. Each victim and survivor has a distinctive experience, but most of us can be profiled easily enough. And it's not a gender issue. The problems and needs of me, a female, and Cece, a male, weren't much different. Our dissimilarities revolve around what happened after our early molestation. I tell a little of Cece's history because too many people assume that in human or sex trafficking, predators want only girls. That's not true. In my organization, there is Hope for Me Incorporated. I have seen firsthand that at least 1/3 of sex slaves are boys. Who are we? Why us? We who were victimized didn't know healthy ways to cope with others. Usually, we were the loners, the outcasts, the shy, the overweight, or the smaller kids. Because we were needy children, perpetrators sensed that vulnerability. Most of us didn't meet some evil person lurking in the park, and we weren't accosted by a stranger on a dark street. If those who lured us were strangers, they groomed us by winning our trust before they took advantage of our vulnerability. The point is that we knew our perpetrators, and they taught us to trust them. As you'll read in this book, my horrific childhood made me an excellent candidate. A woman named Mary groomed me, and grooming is the correct word. It means the perpetrator won my trust, showered me with attention, and made me feel important and special. That misplaced trust lured me into sex trafficking. Why did Mary's methods work? Like other victims, I didn't feel I had anyone who understood or cared. I felt useless and worthless. When my new friend Mary asked questions, listened to my answers, and made promises, she implied we would be friends forever. I received the attention I yearned for. Although every child needs to be loved, the entrapment is more than just expressing affection, even though it's false affection. All children deserve to know they're loved and that they're special to their parents. It's not only whether they are loved, but also whether they believe they are loved. That knowledge makes the difference. Even though I always knew my mother loved me, she was a victim of my father's physical and verbal abuse. To make it worse, her submission to him was the only role model I had. It's easy enough to say that we victims fit the profile of kids who had little self-esteem, although that's true. The label means we didn't feel we were worth much or that anyone cared about us. Remember, it's how we assess the situation and not the reality. If we don't feel loved, we have a built-in human need to seek affection and attention. That's how our victimization happens. Several times I contemplated suicide. Another common theme is that most of us didn't learn from our families how to set boundaries or to take control of our lives. As you read my story, you'll realize that my father destroyed my boundaries, and so did those with whom I associated. Before I was out of my teens, I believed that females were inferior to males and deserved mistreatment. Why wouldn't I have been a good candidate for trafficking? That's who we were as children, needy, insecure, anxious, lonely, and vulnerable. Without the maturity to make adult decisions, we didn't always know what was right or wrong. Instead, we felt something was wrong with us, and that we were inferior to other children. With that background, we wanted to believe our perpetrators' words and promises. When they flattered us, we believed them because we yearned to hear such words. If you ask us,